Hey, besties. Welcome back to Business with My Bestie. I'm Lindy.
I'm Tamara, and we are really excited today. We have Abby Robson with us from ZooMontana. Abby, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So, just a little bit about Abby. Abby is the Conservation Engagement Manager at ZooMontana, that's located in Billings, Montana. ZooMontana has always prioritized conservation as a central pillar of its mission and is proud to finally have the capacity for a team member, Abby, who's dedicated solely to conservation. And they started that in 2025. Abby is excited to help Zoo Montana and its guests learn about and engage with conservation both local and internationally through education and different events. Welcome, Abby. Thank you for joining
Welcome.
us. How are
Hi,
you doing?
thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good, good. So, Abby, tell us just a little bit about yourself and your mission, for Zoo Montana. Kind of what got you into conservation.
Yeah. I was born in Billings. I grew up here. I went to school in Helena. I studied something called anthrozoology, but came right back to Billings. I really like it here. Before I ended up at the zoo, I spent some time working some different like natural resource stuff. Like I spent some time with the Montana Conservation Corps, which I can't say enough good things about. I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun there. The way they work, they place you in like a host site, and I was at the BLM under their wildlife biologist. And then I
Cool.
spent some time at the USDA making conservation plans for private lands. And
Mhm.
then I saw this job, which was really exciting because it's kind of like, it's spending time with animals, it's advocating and doing conservation, and it's engaging with people, which it felt like a really awesome opportunity to use my degree. If you haven't heard of anthrozoology, it's basically the study of human-animal interactions.
Okay, yeah.
Helena is there's not a ton of programs to study it, but Helena is one of them, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. We have a conservation district here in Forsyth as well. And, they work so hard. So I really love, that there are so many opportunities to engage with conservation in different areas throughout Montana. And I mean, all of the United States, of course. But I do think that Montana does a really great job at advocating for conservation. What does success look like with your job at Zoo Montana? Promoting conservation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right now, since this is sort of a newer position and we're kind of having a renewed focus on conservation, right now, a lot of it is like, how many butts do we get in seats? How many people are we talking to? Stuff like that. But I'm hoping as we like get better at developing programs, like making signage, stuff like that, that we can start measuring things more in like, not just are they walking away with more knowledge, but are they equipped to do something? Maybe they
Yeah.
came, they went to the gardens, they learned about pollinators. And they think, if I want to help pollinators, I can go home, I can plant some native plants. I can put, I'm worried about birds. I can go put some decals on my windows so they don't hit it. I can turn off lights, unnecessary lights at night so I don't confuse birds, because that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Awesome.
think that the zoo in Billings is really cool because it's not just a zoo. There's a ton of events that happen
Mhm.
there, which brings in just more people, more stuff. And I think it's really cool that they work so hard to do that to bring more people into the area.
So, like, Zoo Montana in general, how would you describe Zoo Montana's well, I mean, tell us about Zoo Montana first, but then also just kinda tell us about the conservation mission that, Zoo Montana has.
Yeah. So Zoo Montana, we are a zoo. For all of our outdoor animals, we're taking animals. It's called like a 45th parallel zoo, where basically if you put your finger on a globe right on Billings and you spun it around, all of our outside animals are from that region. So they love to be outside in the winter. They love the cold. They love the warm. A lot of them actually really prefer being outside when there's snow on the ground. They get kind of hot in the summer. So we don't have to worry about like giraffes getting cold in the snow or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of our animals come from like rescues, like they're unreleasable. Almost all of our birds, they had something happen, like they were struck by a car or, hit a power line. and they were deemed unreleasable. Both of our eagles, our bald eagles, they have partial wing amputations. Hawk and our turkey vulture, they can't fly all the way. Even our bears are perfectly healthy, but all three of the bears we have right now were in some way considered problem bears in the wild. Like, they were raiding campsites and cabins, and they were getting a little too comfortable with people. And the only options for bears like that when FWP has to step in is to euthanize or find a zoo for them to live at.
Yeah.
So a lot of animals like that. We're also a botanical garden. If you've ever walked around, we got like a beautiful sensory garden. We got lots of gardens. And a lot of people don't know we're also an arboretum, which is basically a tree museum. So if
I
you
did
walk
not
around, there's little signs on a bunch of the trees that tell you about them. For how many trees we have, you wouldn't hardly believe that just about every tree there, other than the cottonwoods, the Russian olives, and some of the buckthorn, they were all planted, even like the ponderosa pine. It's all
No
really
kidding. Wow.
meticulously.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting. I'm
really
gonna have to
cool.
like really
Pay
dive
attention.
into
Yeah.
that next time
Yeah.
that we come out there. So
Mhm.
cool.
Do you feel like there's
Yeah.
some like challenges you run into when you're like trying to get outside people involved in conservation?
Yeah. I think for the kind of audience we see at the zoo, I think the most difficult thing is trying to probably capture their attention for the short time we have them. Because,
Right.
it's easy for people to just walk into the zoo for their oohs and ahs and, look at stuff and walk out. And kind of the focus of, the conservation department, of the education department especially, is how do we, for that short time we have them, impart a message, have them learn something, having maybe an action in mind to take home with them.
So how do you like measure the impact to do like these programs and events to like help with all of that?
That's a really big topic. I just went to like a big training, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which is basically like the parent organization that gives zoos accreditations and holds them to really high standards. They have a really big emphasis on evaluation because that's basically how they sell it to us. Maybe that's not the right word. Why they like it so much is that it's basically what takes a program that's good in its first year to something that you can improve that becomes like a really great program in its second, third, fourth, whatever year. So like the easiest way we evaluate effectiveness or like reach is first just how many people are walking in. But you can get really creative in other ways to measure impact, especially with kids. You can kind of make it a game of like, let's say we want to measure how our at the beginning of camp versus the end of camp, are kids feeling more empathy for animals? So we might keep a code sheet of how they're like behaviors they're exhibiting that demonstrate that. So like maybe at the beginning they're scared of the snakes, but by the end they're calling the snake by its name. They're expressing concern for a snake as an individual, stuff like that. Or you could, a lot of things that sound like icebreakers can be really good evaluation tools. Like, okay, everybody stand up. Let's arrange ourselves on that side of the room. You're thinking spiders are really scary. I don't like him. Stand on that side of the room. I love spiders. Bring them to me. I want to hold them all. There's a lot of creative ways to evaluate the effectiveness of a program, or even like, signage and stuff like that. And we're trying to get better at implementing that so we can know how to improve a program and teach better and impart
Well, and I'm
knowledge
sure
more
it's
effectively.
hard, like especially just program to program. Each program or event that you guys are doing is probably so different. So each time you're trying to measure different things, it's not just like a standardized test that you can hand out every time that they go there. So there's a lot of like thought and energy that goes into your events. Like, I mean, we've been to a few of them and you can tell, like it takes a lot of work to put on the events at the zoo.
Oh yeah.
We are
Yeah,
so
it's
excited
a
about
big effort.
upcoming event. Can you kind of tell us about your upcoming event?
Yeah. So Party for the Planet, it's our big Earth Day celebration. It's something that zoos and aquariums across the whole United States are celebrating in one way or another. And this is ZooMontana's third time celebrating. This is my first time planning it. Because I just started last June. But basically the way we are celebrating it is by bringing attention to different organizations and businesses that do good work for conservation in Montana, for sustainability in Montana, and that maybe not everybody has heard of or knows about. Because a lot of these organizations, they have a big emphasis on education, and they really want to get out in the community and talk to people about all the cool stuff they do. So that's kind of what we have going. We have tables with all kinds of activities, with handouts, people that just want to talk to you if you'll listen. And then for fun, we have food trucks, we have vendors, we have fun stuff going on. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So, we are going to be a vendor there. So, we are so excited to share in all the fun. So, tell the people when it is and kind of like what they can expect from vendors, I guess, the day of, or like must see attractions that you guys are going to have at your event.
Yeah. So Party for the Planet will be Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can get reduced admission if you bring in some like old cell phones or iPods or any kind of old electronics, and we will recycle them.
Yeah.
There's a company called EcoCell that we send all this stuff to, and they'll recycle the lithium batteries in that. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
Day. Well, let's see. I know a lot of the tables have different demonstrations and stuff, different games. Like, I know there's going to be I think a bird migration game somewhere, and the Children's Museum is bringing building blocks. UP has this really cool bear spray demonstration where you can go and they give you this inert bear spray and you can practice spraying it if you're scared about that. You're nervous if you see a bear in the heat of the moment. And they have like a bear cutout that they'll drag toward you to simulate a bear charging you so you can spray it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then we also, Shields is donating some camping gear that we'll throw in with the grizzly bears as sort of like an enrichment campsite demonstration, bear safety thing. We have, throughout the day, we'll have different like animal encounter amphitheater programs. We have this nice outdoor amphitheater. We'll have keepers will be coming out to talk about the animals they take care of. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a lot of fun. And we were just talking about this. Lindy's going camping this summer, and I was like, well, you better take your bear spray. And she's like, okay, but am I actually going to be able to spray bear spray?
I told my husband, I was like, if a bear's in front of me, am I going to think fast enough to work the bear spray? Because I think
it's a real concern.
Yeah, seriously.
So, yeah, I think I need to go to the demonstration and learn more about bear spray. Well, you said that this is your first year planning it, but have you been able to attend the Party for the Planet before, or is this your first time even attending it?
A little embarrassed. This is my first time attending too. But I have the whole photo album from last year and I'm really jealous. Like I can see my coworkers practicing spraying bear spray and setting up like the bear little campsite, and like one of the organizations that's again coming this year, they train conservation scent dogs, and it's always exciting. They bring their dogs so you can meet them. Last year they did a demonstration. They aren't able to this year, but they're bringing a dog and they're really, really cute. And I just love a tabling event. I'm a sucker for walking up to tables and talking to people.
I am too. I love vendor events and going around and meeting new people and learning about all the companies, that you, like you said, you don't always get to see them or know them unless you meet them at these fun little vendor events. So what was some of our questions that we had about, I don't know, vendor?
Like, what qualities make a vendor stand out at like events like this?
Like,
I mean, obviously
us out here.
demonstrations are super cool. Like if you have bear spray, that's really cool. But what else?
Yeah. So for vendors, this is the first year we've had anyone like selling anything other than food trucks. So this was kind of delving into a new world. I reached out to a lot of like people in agriculture who emphasize sustainability. And I was really, really surprised by when I initially reached out. I was like, it's kind of like an educational event. So, if anyone wants to talk about anything, you could. And basically everyone I contacted who said yes was like, I'd love to bring like some information, have a table, like, help educate at this event. I was really pleasantly surprised by that. For the like exhibitor tables more, I'm really excited for how many of them want to bring activities, engage with kids. I envision hopefully people of all ages will come and have a lot of fun, but the zoo audience we have a really good grip on is a lot of families with small kids. So anybody who's excited to talk to kids, to play games with kids, I love to hear it.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask kind of if you had a different audience that you're targeting, or, kind of what that looks like. But overall, is your audience that you target for all of your events pretty similar, or do you kind of
Hmm.
switch with some different events? Like this one, of course, is going to be for families and kids and everything like that. But yeah, kind of tell us a little bit more about the audience that you target day to day.
Yeah. A lot of our programs are very family oriented, but especially as we get more into conservation, which has a lot of more like, I guess, sophisticated topics, we're looking into doing a lot more adult centered programming. Like I think for Mother's Day, we want to have a birds and brews where it's like wine and paint a birdhouse. We're looking into
That's awesome.
yeah, looking into some conservation sort of lectures where folks can come and listen to, someone from one of these nonprofits or an agency or just, an expert in something talk about it. We already have one scheduled actually the day before Birds and Brews to celebrate Migratory Bird Day. We're having somebody from the Raptor Conservation Center or they like rehabilitate injured raptors.
Okay.
They're going to come, they're going to bring a bird. We're going to hang out at Meadowlark Brewing and learn about what they do.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
And like, what would be your biggest tip for us? Like, I mean, we have no idea really what we're getting ourselves into.
I know
What tips can you give us so that we're successful and get your message across?
Oh, man. Um, Dang, that's a hard question. It all kind of depends on what kind, like who you're trying to reach, what kind of programming. I mean, in what I've been learning, especially from like the AZA gives us a lot of resources for helping plan these kind of outreach events and educating, which we're very fortunate to have that because I don't have, a ton of experience planning events and stuff, but something they really imparted to me was that like from the beginning, know exactly who you're trying to reach, know exactly what you're trying to teach, like what you're trying to accomplish exactly, and know how you want to measure that. Because you can have like this great idea and be really excited to execute it, think it goes really good, but then not have that kind of be the end. If you don't have some kind of evaluation, you can't see, am I accomplishing what I want to accomplish? And then, once you know that, you can identify um, how can you improve that? But like, oh, maybe this part, it's not working at all. Maybe I just want to throw that out and change that, even though it's like, it was really cool in theory, really cool in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Well, yeah, no, we're really excited to join you. I think Party for the Planet is an awesome initiative to be a part of and the conservation in general and just to get to hang out for a day at the zoo.
Right.
I
Like,
mean,
who
we're
doesn't
really
want to do
looking
that?
forward to it. So yeah.
With all these like super fun events that you're talking about, I mean, Party for the Planet, but then you're talking about these other events that they're doing. What's the best way for people to like stay involved with a zoo and know everything that's going on? Like, what's the best source of information?
I know we have email newsletters. Whenever we have new events, we try to put those on Facebook. So if you're watching that, to get involved, I mean, there's volunteer opportunities. I think at this very moment, we're full with volunteers, but like, we have volunteers, even with animals. The Botanical Society, they take volunteers. They're really cool. It's like a bunch of retired folk that just want to tell you all about plants and gardening and stuff.
I love. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great too that you have a volunteer program and it's full.
Yeah,
it
that's
just
true.
shows
We're really fortunate with that.
but they're on the right track of, targeting people who are really caring about the community, two, the planet, animals, plants, everything. And that's really what Montana is all about anyway, right? So, everybody in Montana, like all of the industries end up wrapping back to the land and to the animals and you know what I mean? So I'm really excited for you guys to have that and just have a full volunteer program. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of impact do you hope that the say Party for the Planet will have in the next 5-10 years down the road? Like if you guys, see it continuing on, what impact is it that you're looking for?
Yeah. Well, I hope it's the talk of the town. One of the things I'm really hoping we accomplish with this is that just we're improving our relationships with all of these organizations that are already doing really good work with the environment, for the planet in general. Now that we have my position and we're ready to dedicate more time and resources to conservation. I think it's really important to have our name out there as like we want to be involved, we want to help, we want to partner with organizations that make this happen. And I also, just for guests, I hope that this is something that helps them learn about those organizations that, even if they're coming in thinking, it's a fun day at the zoo, I'll go look at the red pandas. They come out learning something new, knowing a new action they can take, knowing that just like Montana is actually a really cool place for conservation, that we have so much going on. We have so many really passionate people doing stuff for, the animals, the plants, the ecosystems, the rivers, everything. It's, Montana is really uniquely interesting when it comes to the environment and, all of the exciting species and just things being done.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. There are all of these groups out there, but unless, you have events like this where they come to the people, it's hard to know where they're at or what they're doing behind doors. And, you just don't necessarily know that there's like a Yellowstone river board of people who are trying to protect it. You don't know that there's these conservation districts in every county almost that, are really working to preserve land and animals and plants and all of these things. So to get them out in the public, and have these awesome events that tie the two things together, like just a fun day at the zoo and learning about conservation.
Right.
And, I think it's awesome and we love it.
Well, and I think like birthday coming up, it's like a great starting point if people like don't know stuff, don't know about
Right.
conservation. Like
Mhm.
this is a time, like, because I do think it's a time of year that a lot of groups try to do something,
Right.
in honor of Earth Day or something to better the community and the conservation and all that stuff. So like try to find something to do. Like
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Love it. So, is there anything else that you want to tell us about the Zoo Montana or Party for the Planet? Any other upcoming events that we should have on our radar for Zoo Montana? I mean, other than the Mother's Day one,
yeah,
that
that
sounds
sounds great.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, the Mother's Day, I mentioned the lecture thing in the works. I have a community science project called Frog Watch on the horizon. If you want to listen to frogs and submit them for science, that's coming.
interesting.
Watch the Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, so one other question that I always have about the zoo is, sometimes we are, in Billings for something, but we need like time to kill, and it's always our go-to to go to the zoo, when we, have those moments. But what is the actual best time of day to go to the zoo to see, when the animals are most active and the most fun that you can have at the zoo? What would you say the best time of day is?
As early as you can get there. You have the hours change a little bit season to season, but the earlier you get there, you're catching the animals right as they come out and, they're stretching, they just ate, they want to go see what's going on. A lot of times before letting them outside, the keepers will go hide treats or they'll hide different scents for them to look at or things to explore. And the animals, they're doing all kinds of stuff. I always love to go by the porcupines early in the morning because in the summer they'll take branches with leaves, just stuff they picked off the property, and they'll hide them in big climbing things. So if you walk by, you'll see the porcupines actually climbing the trees and walking around. Everybody's out and about. The bears might be having a pool party. That could happen at any time of the day, though.
Yeah, that's
um,
awesome.
Well,
yeah.
like, yeah, and we love taking our kids to the zoo, which is super fun. One of the classes always does a field trip to the zoo, and it's always one of my kids' favorite field trips.
Yeah.
They love it. They think it's so much fun, and it's just a
Mhm.
cool experience for them.
Yeah,
That's good
love
to
it.
hear.
Well, Abby, we sure appreciate you joining us today. Thank you for telling us all about the zoo and the event coming up. We can't wait to be a part of
We are
it.
so excited to
Yeah.
see you again next weekend.
Yeah, we'll see you again next weekend. So again, Party for the Planet is April 18th from 10 to 4 at Zoo Montana in Billings.
And
So
we'll share more information about it so that people can come because it sounds like it's going to be a rocking good time.
Awesome.
awesome, Abby. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a bestie with us here on the podcast. And until next time, guys, we will see you then.
Yeah, thanks, Abby.